I'm Amy,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are Counseling Success. Thanks for joining us. Today, we want to talk to you about pause and persevere.
Yeah.
So, what that essentially means is that when you've encountered a difficult situation and you're unsure whether or not to continue or to stop,
Maybe you're feeling anxious. Or maybe you're
stress,
feeling stressed.
yes. And so, we're here to give you some practical tools on how to do a self-inventory to determine what steps to take and what strategies you can use to continue to persevere.
And oftentimes what we're encountering is this concept of quit, right? Quitting. And when to push through, when to pause, when to persevere through quit. And so many of us have grown up with you must finish what you start. I'm sure we've all experienced that. And so really what we want to do is leave today feeling like we have some tools to better pause ourselves and persevere through in ways that help us make good decisions.
What do you mean by persevere?
So persevere is really that moment where things are getting really hard, you're putting in a lot of effort, and you make it to the end, right? And so really perseverance is that hard part and overcoming that hard part and finishing whatever it is you're pursuing.
Right.
So what is pause?
Pause means you're taking a smart break. What's a smart break? A smart break is a self-inventory of what's happening right now, what's working, what's not working, and diving deeper into that and looking at both and seeing where something needs more support and how to utilize your strengths to uplift the ones that need to be lifted or where change needs to happen to continue to persevere.
So let's talk a little bit about how we're approaching this, right? We're using some techniques and some data informed decision making that for ourselves that have worked in the past. And so really what we're talking about is reframing technique.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about how we're shifting from thought, feelings, and action as we enter into the tools?
Yes. So when we are in a moment where we're feeling like we want to quit or we're at crossroads with a decision.
I don't want to go to that party, or I don't want to go to that session.
Right. Or I don't want to go to the gym tonight.
Yeah.
And so we can all relate to that one.
Yeah.
And so the thought, there's three key components. There's thoughts, feelings, and action, and they're all connected. And the idea behind it is that your thought will dictate how you feel, and how you feel will dictate your actions. And so in this case, I'm going to give an example of a student that I work with, and they are in upper elementary. So they don't want to be singled out. They don't want to go to small group. So the thought that they have is, I don't want to go to small group. Then we extrapolate that by talking about how do they feel that's causing them that thought. How is that
What is
thought?
that feeling? What is that feeling that's causing them to not want to go?
Right. And so it's oftentimes being embarrassed, not wanting to be singled out, or not feeling like they want to disclose information with other peers that they don't necessarily connect with. Then now we take it a step further. What does that feeling, how does it affect your action? What your next steps are?
Yeah, because if I don't want to go and I'm feeling angry, then I ultimately won't go.
Exactly. Right? Then you don't go. You don't budge.
That's the action.
Right.
So as we talk about this scenario, there's some tools to sort of open up choice and open up opportunity to make a better choice and ultimately shift the I don't want to go to I get to go. What happens if you get to go? We love this technique, crystal ball technique, perspective thinking, this ability to visualize what if I get to go 1 week out, 1 month out, what will that look like? Versus what if I don't go? What does it look like 1 week out, 1 month out? And helping the student, helping the scholar, helping the person sort of identify and map what happens if my thought and action lead to an outcome. What is that outcome, right? So we're really focused on using the crystal ball method tool that allows you to sort of paint the picture of what can happen and visualize what will happen if you ultimately make the decision to not go versus go.
And ultimately, the takeaway here is that our thoughts dictate our actions based on our feelings. And we want to reverse that and show you that your thoughts may hinder you, but at the same time, they can also propel you forward.
So talk a little bit about strength-based technique. Tool.
Yes. So another technique that I like to use is called strength based. And so this student in particular didn't want to be singled out, doesn't want to be in a formal group setting with other peers that they don't really associate with. And so how I worked with that student is by mapping out their strengths with them. And their strengths they shared was that they like art, they like to hang out with friends, and they just like to talk. And that's indicative of all preteens and teenagers. Um, so how did I utilize that strength to help her to shift and reframe? We built her strengths around the group. So then if she likes art, we could do art-based activities. She likes hanging out with her friends. She likes to hang out and talk with her friends and peers. We could be in an informal setting where they're just sitting and talking and laughing, and it doesn't have to be super serious. And so by doing that shift, she's more inclined to come because these are things that she looks forward to or things that are in her favor.
And these tools allow you sort of in a pause moment to reflect, to look forward, and really help students, help yourself make a good decision based off of those reflections,
Right.
based off pausing. And then ultimately, oftentimes after I pause, persevering may not be doing the same action or activity. It may be a redirection, or maybe
Right.
some sort of opportunity to discover a new area. So again, I like what you said at the beginning, to aim for the moon and land amongst the stars. The opportunity for students to have this vision for what's out ahead and land in a place that feels right, and ultimately reduces anxiety, reduces stress, reduces confusion, and increases optimism.
And something that I wanted to add to, Ryan, is that when we look at pause and persevere, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to quit whatever you're doing. Sometimes that quit evolves into a redirection to a different route. But the goal here is that you will continue, whether it's an alternate route or the same route, but the end result is that you will have grown incrementally and have progressed.
So the next time you're struggling, the next time you have a challenge, the next time you want to quit and you want to move away from you must finish what you start, try these tools. Try crystal ball method and mapping out what happens if you do get to go. What happens if you need to go? Just try mapping out your strengths to sort of formulate a way for you to make a good decision around some techniques and tools that work.
Thanks for joining us. We are counseling
success. That was good. That was good. Let's do one more. We do one more time. That was good. That one.
Yeah, but I need to like mentally think.